My guest at this time is WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long. Teddy, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Hey, thank you so much, Nick, for having me back. It's always a pleasure and honor to get the opportunity to speak with you, man. You're my man, and all I can say is thank you for having me back.
No problem, dude. How are you doing? For everybody that's wondering what Teddy Long is up to at the moment, like how you doing? What are you doing these days, Teddy?
Well, I'm staying pretty busy. I'm doing some stuff out in Texas with TSW, Texas Style Wrestling. I'm working with them. Also with Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. I'm the vice president of that company.
Yeah.
It's run by Rodney Mack and Jazz. So we're doing something. And also, let me give a big shout out to my man, Randy Klein. Randy Klein is the president of TSW. And we're over there with Selena Del Rente and some of the same talent that is with Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. We combined both companies, and so we're running the Texas area. Also, I'm in Atlanta with IWN, with Larry Bell, Mac Davis. It's called the Independent Wrestling Network. We're getting some stuff started there. Also, I'm also with Mac Davis, and we're getting ready to do a thing we call Road Trip Up in Smoke. And we're going to start our first show in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be there along with SummerSlam. We're asking the people to. Well, Mac, we got the link. I'm going to get it out there to everybody where we'll be at. We'll have Selena Del Rente. She'll
Yeah.
be along there with us, and so all that'll be live. So it's called Up in Smoke Road Trip. Teddy Long, Mac Davis. Like I said, I'm this well this not this weekend, but next weekend I'm up in High Point, North Carolina with Bambi Weevil. She's got a big show going there. The Steiner brothers will be there and a lot of other superstars. So I'm staying pretty busy, player.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Teddy, like, what do you think about the state of independent wrestling right now? Like, obviously, you're running around working with a bunch of people right now. You've seen the business go through like so many waves at this point. What do you think of like the state of independent wrestling right now? How does it feel to you?
Well, some of it's not good and some of it is good. And what I mean by that, a lot of independent guys, if they, some of them, they want to do the right thing. They want to try to, get their company going and try to make money. But you got so many of them there that just don't understand the wrestling business. They just want to wrestle. You know what I mean? They have no idea about storylines, trying to, work, get their audience, to come back and see their shows. See, what I try to get them to understand is you know what you got in the building tonight, so you don't work for the night. You work for your return. How we going to pack them back in here and how we going to add more to the attendance when they come back. And like I said, just a lot of independent guys, they just want to wrestle and they don't care about, they just don't, I don't wouldn't say they didn't care. I just think they just don't know and they don't understand about drawing money. And a lot of them don't have money to really invest to get the company, where it should be. So they just, take the small stuff and just keep on going. But I've been affiliated with TSW.
Right.
They got some backers. They got people that, got money and they understand what it is. So they want to try to make this thing work because Texas has always been a great state for professional wrestling. And so TSW, they've got the production crew, they've got everything basically that they need to make it work. They just need, some good talent, in which they have that, and they're going to get some better talent because they pay you well and they treat you like a human being. You know what I mean? And that's where
Yeah.
a lot of guys, where a lot of guys want to work. Also with Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, same thing with Rodney Mack and Jazz. They've been around this business for a long time. They understand, what it is, and they know how to treat people. They know how to talk to people and try to help people instead of criticizing them and, tell them they'll never make it and all this stuff. So, I think it's just going to be great for Texas, for Dog Pound and TSW. Also here in Georgia, IWN. I think that's going to go right. We're just trying to make sure that the investors, when they do start putting their money in, we want to make sure that we give them, their money's worth and we get the right people in to try to make this thing work.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, cool. Well, rock and roll, Teddy. I could talk to you about independent wrestling forever, but there's other stories that have come up recently that are the reason I made contact with you again to talk for the website. Now, first of all, before we get to the exclusive I ran, the reason I did this piece was because Mike Chioda did this interview, or not even interview, it's like a podcast for Conrad, where he talked about
Mm-hmm.
how you guys used to go up and down the road smizzing all the time, which I think is a word that we successfully introduced to the common wrestling fan, which is short for smoking weed, right? Smizzing, is it right?
Well, I think Chioda was the one who gave it the name Smizz, because that's where I first heard that from, was from Mike Chioda, the word Smizz. Let me give a big shout out to Mike Chioda. Great guy. Love traveling with him, man. We had such a wonderful time on the road. And like I said, he's correct. We smizzed all the time, man. And that's how you really had to ride, man. I mean, the job was stressful, man. You leave an arena at 12 o'clock at night, then you may have to drive 300 miles to the next town, and you don't get in there till 5 a.m. in the morning. And, it's just stressful, but we had a great time driving those long trips because we get us some Smizz, and long as we smizzing, man, the ride it was fun. It was great. So I love riding with Chioda. He was just a great guy to be with, man. He just outstanding, man. That's all I can say. Shout out to Mike Chioda.
So were you ever worried? Because that was a period where now it's very relaxed, which we could talk about in a second, but were you ever worried about smoking in WWE, like the opinion of the culture and all that at the time?
Well, at one time, I had to quit, when they first started the testing, I stopped, because, I had a lot of respect for Vince, and Vince did a lot for me. So I said, hey, man, I got my job is more important. And so I don't want to let Vince down.
When did that happen? By the way, just real quick.
When I first started working, when I first started managing, first being the general manager of SmackDown.
Okay.
And they started bringing the drug tests in. So then that's when it first started. So I just quit. I didn't want to, like I said, I don't want to let Vince down. That man gave me the opportunity of a lifetime, and the reason I'm where I am today is because of Vince. And so I quit and stuff. So maybe about a year, I might have quit for a real long time. Wow. And so what made me start back, man? I think I just got kind of burnt out. I'd been on the road over like 25 years of my life, and all I did was come home for like 2 days out of the week, take all the dirty clothes out of my suitcase, wash them up, put them right back in, hit right back out. So I think it just kind of got stressed. And then me and Chioda, we started riding again because I kind of got away from Chioda, and I started, kind of on my own because Chioda was like refereeing, and he was always had to be there the last. He was almost the last guy to lead, and I didn't want to keep waiting around, especially if I got a 250-mile drive. So I would just, kind of once I was done, and I was clear to go, then I'd go ahead and go a lot of shows by myself. But after I started riding with Chioda, I was just stressed, so we started back to smoking. And man, it was just the greatest time of my life. I started enjoying myself once again. And so I did fail a couple of tests. So I'm like, well, sooner or later, it's going to happen. So, I just didn't worry about it no more, man.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like totally different now. Like Matt Riddle's out there saying, Arcade Bro 420 just smoked your ass. Like it's part of the culture now. Like they're pretty open about how they're not penalizing people for smoking weed, and like they're going so far as to making some straight up weed references on TV these days,
Well, you know what I'm saying? What really got me about it, it's all a work anyway. You know what I mean? Just taking people's money, finding them and shit, for no reason. Well, I won't say no reason. I guess the reason was you smoke marijuana, there's a fine, you have to pay the fine. But I look up one day and I see a commercial, and I see golly, the doctor out of Philadelphia. I'm trying to think what his name was.
Dr. Oz?
Not Oz. It was a guy that used to come around to the wrestling.
Oh.
Golly. I can't, but a little short guy. He did some stuff with
Frank Ramascavage?
Not Ramascavage. Oh God, do I know Frank Ramascavage? But what a great, he's another great guy. Now, what was this guy, the little doctor? He did something with the Philadelphia Eagles too, and he came in. Golly, man. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, to make my story here is I look up one day and I see him on a commercial advertising a detox drink. But you just told me that it's a fine. Marijuana is gonna eat my brain up. I'm gonna be all messed up. This is the worst drug in the world. And I saw him, I swear to you, man, on a commercial where he was advertising a detox drink. Wow. Unbelievable, brother. So that's what I'm saying. You're gonna tell me all this. Then they had all these meetings, and they tried to make marijuana be like it was the worst. They tried to make it almost like heroin. Okay, that it's going to kill our brain cells, and it's going to do this and going to do that. But I guess that's part of it. They got paid to do their job, and that's what they done.
Wow. Okay, well, it's different now for the better too. And like you hear guys talk about, like, Bret Hart's obviously very open about how people have been just allowed to smoke weed. Probably had a lot less guys getting addicted to pills and stuff like that. So probably a change for the better. It would seem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Embracing the marijuana.
Well, you got to look at it like this too. Some guys, saying out like myself, we know how to be discreet. Just ain't smoking all everywhere and putting all your business out there in the street. Letting everybody see you. So you kind of need to protect yourself and protect the company. And a lot of guys, they didn't do that. They didn't protect the company. They just get to smoking and just be all out and then start fights and bars and just that wasn't good. So one thing about me and Chioda, we smoked, but we weren't out there acting a fool, man. We do it in the car, and then back then, you couldn't do it in your room because you had to pay, at the room smell. So we just do us a good hit before we went to bed, outside on the parking lot, and we went to our room. We wasn't out there, all on social media with a blunt in our mouth, letting everybody know what we're doing, because we needed to protect the company.
Yeah, for sure. And to put a button on this, by the way, I'm going to teach everybody Carney real quick. I'm going to give away the business. You put an IZ before the first vowel in the word, and that's how you turn a word into a Carney word. Smizz is short for smizoke, which is the Carney word for smoke, and that's where the word smizz comes from. And that is Nick Hausman's 30-second Carney historical lesson on the word smizz.
Well, I learned something there from you, Nick. Thank you very much.
Yeezy was welcome, something I think like that. Okay. Anyway,
you're with welcome.
Yeah, so was welcome. I know I nailed the first one. So Teddy, the other part of this was then Mike starts talking about how he wasn't really happy with how you went out as an on-screen character necessarily in WWE. He thought it was great they put you in the Hall of Fame, but unlike other people that go into the Hall of Fame, you were not given one of these Legends contracts, which I went and found out was true, apparently. And talk to me a little bit about that. Why you and why not you, and why others, and what is this Legends deal?
Well, first of all, the Legends deal is a deal they put you on where they give you a check every week. Some of them are different, some of them maybe $1,000 a week, 500 a week, or different, they're different.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way it was described to me is that once you get one of those deals, they still give you a check every week, whether they used you or not. But the way that they got their money back is you didn't get any royalties. They held all your royalty money and stuff, and that way they, I guess that's how they got their money back.
Okay.
But anyway, they never even. Well, let's talk. Mark Carrano was the guy that was in charge of that stuff. Okay, he was head of talent relations. Now, Mark Carrano thought I was the dumbest black man on the planet. Okay, he always would come to me with stuff, and I would just look at him, and I never did smarten him up. I never did let him know I knew exactly what he was saying to me, and I knew exactly what he was doing. Because if you smarten him up, then it won't continue to happen. And I wanted it to happen so I could see exactly how this man really felt about me. But me and Mark Carrano, when Mark Carrano first came to WWE was WWF then, and Mark Carrano was running errands for Dave and Earl Hebner. He was jumping out of the car, buying beer for him, and just, he was kind of like a gopher. So then Mark Carrano was one of the nicest guys you could talk to around there. Everybody, we got along with him, and I got along with him then. So once Mark Carrano got the power, and I've seen it over and over again, once some of them get the power, they change. So Mark Carrano changed once he got that job in talent relations and took John Laurinaitis' spot. He became worse than John Laurinaitis. Okay, I don't know what happened to him, man, but he just started just screwing a lot of people around. And I'm not the only person. A lot of people may not talk to you and say to you how Mark Carrano was. I don't know whether you ever heard about him or not, but he was treacherous.
He got dumped not long ago by WWE over the Mickey James trash bag incident for everybody out there.
Well, Mark Carrano should have been dumped way before that happened. Okay, Mark Carrano did a lot of stuff, and Mike Chioda, I don't know what he talked to you about him, but he hated Mike Chioda for some reason. And I think he hated Mike Chioda because Mike Chioda was good friends with me. And the reason I guess he started disliking me, it came from other people. It wasn't because me and Mark, he didn't even really know nothing about me. He didn't even know nothing about the wrestling business when he broke in. Mark Carrano was a fan. So that would come from other people putting stuff in Mark Carrano's head about me because it changed all of a sudden. And he was the biggest liar. He would lie to you right in your face and think you didn't know it. He had the nerve to tell me, he called me just before, and I went before I went into the Hall of Fame, and he said to me that it was his idea that he gave to Vince. So Vince said they were sitting around in a meeting and they were talking about people that they wanted to put in the Hall of Fame. And he said he spoke right out to Vince and said, "Hey Vince, let's get Teddy Long in there. We haven't had him in there."
Wow.
And I just listened to that, brother. If Mark Carrano had to make a decision whether I went in the Hall of Fame or not, I wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame right now, and I already know that. So just to lie to me, and he thought, like I said, he thought I was the dumbest black man on the planet, and just he would tell me stuff just was unreal. So anyway, Chioda, he always looked out for me, man, and I'm like, I'm trying to tell Chioda, you can go in there and you can talk back or speak up a little bit better than me. I said, because sometimes if I go in there, and I start talking, I'm going to get fired. Right. Well, if I went in there, then Chioda would go to the other people and tell them, well, he's not happy. He's complaining. He wants a legend deal and all, and all this stuff, try to make like I was I was becoming a problem and I wanted this. So Chioda would always, just tell me, well, I'll go in there. I said, no, no, no. I said, okay. I said, I tell you what. I said, I'll ask him about the legend deal today. So one day we was at WrestleMania. So I walked up to him and so I said, Carrano, I just wanted to know, what about my, do I qualify or, do I get a Legends deal? And he looks at me and he says, you don't have one? Here's the guy that does this. He's part of the Legend deal. He has to take this to Vince for Vince to approve it. He knows the whole deal about the Legend deal. And he said to me, just like he didn't know nothing about it, says, you don't have one? That's why I despised him, because he just thought I was just that dumb, that I didn't know he was the guy that was part of that, and he was the guy that was keeping me from ever getting one. So it was bad with Mark Carrano. Like I said, they should have got him a long time ago, but finally karma comes back around, so they finally he got his just due. But Mark Carrano, like I said, he was just doing what other people wanted him to do. And, some of it he wanted to do it too because he was ate up with power. He got that power and he lost his mind too. So some of it he wanted to do and a lot of it he was told to do.
Okay, so like that explains it. And I had heard about the Carrano issues between you two. And after talking to you, I guess I got the John Laurinaitis stuff off a little bit off. Now, you didn't actually approach Laurinaitis, it sounds, directly about the Legends deal after. So Carrano leaves over the trash bag incident with Mickie James. John Laurinaitis resumes head of talent relations. And since Laurinaitis has resumed that role, you have talked to him, but it sounds like you haven't talked to him directly about the Legends deal. Is that what I'm getting at now?
Yeah, no, I hadn't. Once I talked to Mark Carrano and Mark Carrano told me that like he didn't know nothing about it. I wasn't no sense in talking to anybody because I know I wasn't going to get one. Because in fact, Laurinaitis was the guy. Carrano was the guy that was in charge at the time. So it wouldn't make no sense for me to go to Laurinaitis. So if you didn't do it through Mark Carrano, it didn't happen. And Mark Carrano did a lot of stuff to Mike Chioda too. I think he got mad with Mike Chioda because Mike Chioda was friends with me. So he did a lot of dirty stuff to him too. So like I said, the only thing I talked to Laurinaitis about at one time is that, I don't think I was one of his favorite people either. But anyway, I wanted to know why I couldn't get an action figure.
That's right.
So right. So what it was, the people at Jack's Pacific, those were the people. They made two action figures of me. I think I was in one with Rey Mysterio, and then I was in a package with Batista and Undertaker. Well, one night at one of the WrestleMania parties, the guy that from Jack's Pacific, he come up to me. He'd been drinking a while. He told me, he said, "Well, won't be seeing no more action figures of you, Teddy Long. We've been told, not to make any more action figures." So he just, I guess the alcohol told him to tell me that. So I said, okay, no problem. I didn't argue with him, nothing about it. I didn't care because I already knew. So then after that happened, I went to Laurinaitis and I asked him about, the action figure. Why I couldn't, could I get one? And he told me, he said, well, we talked to the consumers and the consumers said that they would not buy your doll. He told me that to my face. And then, that man, I'm telling you, I had to hold my tongue and hold my peace a whole lot. So I said, okay, no problem. So I walked away, but that upset me so bad till the only person that I really could talk to there was Undertaker. And Taker was a kind of a guy that you could go to if you had problems with some people. And if you were in the right, Taker would speak up for you or help you out or take care of it.
Right.
And I told Taker what he just told me. And Taker looked at me and he said, "Did he say that to you?" I said, "Yeah." And he just shook his head. And we just and we and I just walked away. That stunned me for the whole day.
Wow.
But that's the problem I had with Laurinaitis. But like I said, he laughs and grins, but I don't think he never cared for me.
Wow. And he's still there, right? He's still head of talent relations at this moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So
And then, like I said, you ain't got to talk to me about Laurinaitis. There's a lot of people besides me can tell you about him. Okay, so I don't want it to look like this some race thing or I got this vendetta against a white man. It ain't got nothing to do with race or nothing. It's got to do with him, the individual.
okay, fair enough. Wow. And so I guess since we've like no movement, right? You're still in the hall. Obviously, they can't take away your Hall of Fame ring. I guess they could, but they haven't. And you're still not under a Legends deal, though, right? And so, like,
Well,
it's surprising to me, Teddy. Like, yeah, I feel like I guess the reason this is like surprising to me is I had kind of been under the impression you go into the Hall of Fame, you get that Legends deal, and I had thought that some guys kind of looked at the Hall of Fame thing as like, the equivalent of like a retirement plan for WWE to help the people that had really kind of bring them to where they are. But that doesn't sound like it's necessarily the case, Teddy.
Well, some people had those deals and some people didn't. They didn't give everybody a Legend deal, and I guess that's probably why they could get away with not giving people certain people one and certain people they did give them to. I think Jackie Moore, she was another one that went in the Hall of Fame. I don't think she got a Legends deal either. So, I don't know that, like I said, there may have been some other people there too that didn't have that deal, but the majority of the people that were in that Hall of Fame, they had a Legends deal. And I never got one, and they never even talked to me about one.
All right. Well, while I have you here, Teddy, I went to my writers. I let them know that we were going to be talking, and I asked them if they had any questions for you. I got a couple questions real quick. I wanted to wrap up. First, this one comes from Sal, one of our social media guys. He wants to know, what did you enjoy doing more, being a ref, a manager, or a general manager?
Well, I guess I enjoyed being the general manager because that way, I got a chance to display more of my talent. You know what I mean? I enjoyed everything I did, though. When I was referee, I enjoyed that. Didn't bother me. See, my thing is this, and this is what I let Vince McMahon know that whatever you want me to do, I got no problem doing it because I know this is not real. And that's what a lot of people get hung up in. They start believing this. We got some people out there right now that's been in this business 50 years and they still believe that they're this person that's on TV. And that's really sad. So I just, like I said, the general manager was good. I got a chance to display, my talents and really let Vince know what I could really do.
All right, fair. And lastly, here from Marco, here, one of our writers, he says, I really want to know what he has to say about the quote Viagra unquote story the Undertaker told on Broken Skull Sessions, where he went to wrestlers' court for selling Viagra to the boys, and it involved Mae Young.
Yeah. Okay, so the Viagra story is I used to sell the Viagra to the boys. So they ended up putting me in wrestler's court. They took me to wrestler's court for selling Viagra. So I had to get a lawyer. So the lawyer I got was Mae Young, God rest her soul. So I took Mae Young. Mae Young was my lawyer because it's at the last minute. I'm looking around at the locker room. I said, who can I get for a lawyer? So I see Mae Young. So I get Mae Young. I tell Mae Young the whole story. So Mae said, yeah, Teddy, I'll be your lawyer. So she went in and we went in the wrestler's court. And the first thing she said, everybody popped. She said, well, I want you guys to know Teddy Long is not guilty of selling that Niagara. That's what she couldn't say by her, so she called it Niagara. But that was a great day. But I still was found guilty, so I had to buy buckets of chicken and beer for about 2 weeks for Bradshaw, Taker, and some more of the boys.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. What do you think? Wrestlers Court, good thing, bad thing? Some people really think it should go away. They think it's a bad thing. You like Wrestlers Court or no?
I like Wrestlers Court. There's nothing bad about Wrestlers Court. I mean, if you do something, you go to court. Jesus Christ, it's all in fun. I loved it. Taker was the judge. It was absolutely fan. And then we needed stuff like that. You know, we needed our own thing to do. And, you know, we entertain the people all the time. So now let's entertain ourselves. So I love Wrestlers Court, you know, especially when I wasn't a guy on trial. But but anyway, but like I said, it didn't bother me at all. But that was just something that we did, and all the boys loved it.
Fair enough. All right, Teddy. Hey, I want to thank you for taking some time with me this morning to talk about what we've been reporting and everything else that's going on in your world right now, man. I'm so happy to see you so active right now. Is there anything you want to put over before we wrap up the conversation today?
Well, I just want to tell the people, you know, to look out for Up in Smoke. Teddy Long, Mac Davis road trip will be coming to a city pretty soon in your area. Like I said, we'll start it off in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be there along with the SummerSlam people and WrestleCade, all that. We'll be there doing that. And just big shout out to Texas Style Wrestling out there, TSW, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. And right here in Atlanta, Georgia, IWN, Larry Bell, Mac Davis. We're going to make a lot of things happen, player. Oh, yeah, and I'll be up around New Jersey. I think the 25th, 26th, I'm coming up there around Jersey. But I'll be putting that out on social media, so hope to see everybody up there. Nick, just want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to come on your show, man, and, you know, and just tell the people the truth.